Hi everybody, Patty Ann here. Today I'm showing you what we're going to work on. I'm going to show you how to grab a PNG image, how to open it in Inkscape and add the white border around the image, how to cut out this hole with your Cricut machine, and how to add text to it with your Cricut machine if you'd like. So, join me over here at lovesvg.com, and no, I'm not affiliated with these people at all. I've just been finding some good things lately. So I did a search for snowman, and I found this little guy here that I liked. So I right click on, or just click on him, and this is a refresher again. You know, I used to be a teacher, and I always learned that people learn best when you revisit things. So that's why I revisit things a lot here on my channel. Anyway, we scroll down here until we come to the download zip file. And then down here, since I'm using Windows 10, it says, what do I want to do with this snowman file? So I'll say save it. Then I'm going to open the folder. And it's a zip file, so I'll have to unzip it. Notice it comes already highlighted here, so I can click on it. And here it is up here, and I'm going to say extract all because it's that zip file. Whoops. And when I click on it, it's going to unzip it to my downloads folder, snowman, and it's probably going to say I already have it because I do. I did this already once. So extract, yep, I'll just replace them. And just skip whatever that is. So all those boxes won't come up for you because you'll be doing it your first time. So I can X these out. And now I'm going to open not Cricut Design Space. I'm going to open the free program called Inkscape. INKSCAPE. And I know what you're probably thinking, oh my gosh, I cannot mess with all that stuff, Patty Ann. All right, so you don't really need to worry about all of this stuff on Inkscape. It looks really scary, doesn't it? But there's only a few buttons that you need to know to be able to do this. And what I do is I actually took some notes on a card, and so I can remember exactly what steps I need to do. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to File, up here in the upper left-hand corner, and the program I'm using doesn't allow me to highlight the mouse, which I wish I could, but I cannot. But anyway, I'll go to File, and I'll go slow enough so you can see, hopefully. Then I'll come down to Import, and I'm going to go find the folder. Now, since I've already done it, it has opened in the proper folder again. You probably will have to look for yours on your computer. Now, the one we want to import is the PNG file. If we were opening this in Cricut Design Space, we would open the SVG file because that's a cut file. But the PNG file is the image we want to open. So I'm going to click on it, there it is, and say open. And I'm going to leave these boxes exactly as they're checked. Say okay. And there he is, he's come in. Okay. Now, the next thing I need to do is I'm going to come up here to Path. See it up in the top up here? Path. And then I'm going to go down here, Path, down to Trace Bitmap. And you don't need to remember any of this stuff, like what does it mean? You know, like who cares as long as it works, right? So just do Trace Bitmap. Now yours may not come in looking exactly like this because yours may have come in maybe as grays or something. So I'm ignoring this time all these little boxes up on the top but where it says multiple scans creates a group of paths, I'm going to change that to colors. Now, depending on how many scans you have listed here, it's going to determine how this looks over here, the picture of the snowman. For example, if I make this have fewer scans, watch what's happening to the snowman, the coloring of him. If I just have 2 scans, that means it's going to do white and blue. If I do 3 scans, it will add in another color. But that's not right. So I'm going to keep adding in scans until he looks the way I want him to look. And I think 7, 8 is not necessary, or 9, I'm sorry. 7, let's see what's 6. 5 is not good enough. So I'm going to do 7 scans of him, and you see how he looks, just the coloring that I'd like. And by the way, if you can't see yours over here, make sure that this live preview box is selected. Okay, after you've got it done the way you like it to be, you can come over here to say OK. Now when you click on OK, it's not going to look like it does anything, but it does. Watch. Okay, it went right back to wanting to say OK, but I'll just X this out now. And then I'm going to come back to my image, and I should have 2 of them now. So I have my little select and transform objects picked over here on the left hand side on the upper left. I'm going to come over here and drag that away. Do you see how there are 2 of them? Now the one we want to keep is the top one. That's the newest one. This is the one, the first one that we want to get rid of. So I'm going to just hit delete, select that and hit delete on my keyboard, and it's gone. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this fill bucket over here in the tools on the left hand side, all the way down almost to the bottom, right there. And I'm going to click on that fill bucket. And then I have to come up here to the top part of the menu and change where it says fill by, make sure it says alpha. Threshold can be whatever, mine is just set to 15. And then grow shrink by, and you can play around with this depending on how big you want your border to be. I made mine 25 millimeters, so maybe you want to start with that just to see how it goes. And then again, you've already have this paint bucket selected. You see how it looks just like a paint bucket? I'm going to change the color that I'm going to use. So I'm coming down to the bottom, and I think I'll make it this, I don't know. All right, so I have clicked on the blue, and now I can come up here right on this snowman and click the paint bucket, and there it is. So now the next thing I want to do is I want to see what that is going to look like, that border that I've put on here. First, I get my arrow over here on the left hand side because I have to select that. Then click on it to select it. Then I come up to object and lower to the bottom. And then you can see what the border is going to look like. Okay, I made it a different color other than white so that it would show up better for you. But now I'm going to change it back to white by coming down here to the bottom where the colors are and just click on this white. Okay. And that's it. That's all you have to do in Inkscape. You don't need to know why you do it. Just do it and you'll get a nice border. Okay. So now we need to pick the 2 things that are on our mat. So I can select him, hold down the shift key and select out here, and notice how I have 2 boxes around this. That's what I want. I can probably also just draw a big square around it. If I have my arrow up here, the select and Transform Objects tool. See it up there in the upper left-hand corner? By that selected, I can just draw a box around both things. And then if I end up with 2 dotted boxes around it, it's perfect. So now I'm going to go to Export As. It's over here on the lower right-hand corner. I'm going to export this as, and I'm going to name it Snowman for video. And I'm going to put it in my download folder. And I'm going to put it in the one that's Snowman, this one, and there. So you just put it wherever you want to put it. Snowman for video. It's a PNG file. I don't need to mess with that. I just say save. Now, I promise you're going to be really frustrated if you think you're done right now, because you are not. All that did was tell it where you want to save it. If you actually want to save that now, you must, repeat after me, I must come down to this checkbox down here that says export on the lower right hand side. Must click that, and now it's saved. So now I can minimize this and go back to Cricut Design Space. Now in Cricut Design Space, I'm going to go to Upload. I've already done him once. I'm going to do him again. Upload an image, browse. And I named him Snowman for video, and you may have to hunt around for your image. Snowman for video, open. There he is, and you can see the white border that's around him. So I'm going to go complex and continue. Okay, it doesn't look like there's anything I need to do to him, so I'm just going to continue. I want to save it as a print and cut. And I can put some text in here, maybe Christmas, winter, gift tag, whoops, whatever, and just save. Okay, here it is. I'm going to highlight it and come down here in the lower left hand or right hand corner where it says insert image down here. Insert image. Okay, here he is. You can't see the white border around him very well, so I'm going to change the color of my canvas over here. I'm going to change it to blue. Okay, so there he is. Now, if you'll notice, when I click on him, he is 9.8 inches tall, almost 10 inches tall, which would be kind of cool. He could be cute, but I don't think I really like that little poochy thing. But I'm going to change him and make him 3 inches tall. The lock is locked, so when the height changes, the width will also change. I'm going to change this to 3 and hit enter on my keyboard. Okay, so that made him a lot smaller. All right, so he's almost ready, but remember I said I'm going to show you how to put the hole up here. So if you want to put a ribbon, so you'll come to the shape tool, circle, got to make it really small to fit up there. Whoops, there we go. I think a little smaller yet, maybe. Okay, so I'm going to click him, hold down my shift key, and click the circle. So both should be highlighted or grayish over here. And then I can slice. So I'm slicing this out. And it's probably hard to tell. So let me change this to some other color. It makes it a little easier for you to see. Okay, so now you can see that I have indeed cut out that hole there on the snowman. Now I also said I was going to teach you how to put in some text if you don't know how. So I'm going to go to text, and the first thing I'm going to do is up here where it says style up here, I'm going to change the style so that it's all writing, because I want to write with my Cricut machine. But it's writing, and I'm going to write to, and maybe I'll put a colon this time, Levi, and then love, colon, Graham. Now they don't really call me Graham, but it fit on here easily. So let's see. I don't think I like the Cricut Sans. Well, let me make it smaller now. Hit 12 and enter. There we go. To Levi, love, Graham. Let's move it over here. Make it a little smaller and bring it down. And actually, I could probably make this a little bit bigger so we can see more clearly what it looks like. I like that. So, there we go. Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so now I'm ready to make it. Oh, but guess what? There's something that I had done originally, and it was almost ruined it. Because what you need to do is you need to select the text, hold down your shift key and select the image, and then say attach. Because if you don't, well, let me undo that. If I don't and I go to make it, it's going to make this okay, and then it's going to put this way up here where I don't really want it. I want it to be attached exactly where it is right here. So if I click on the text, hold down the shift key, click on the image, and click attach. Now when I go to make it, it shows up exactly where I want it to be. Okay, so what I've got to do now is I'm going to start to make it, so I'm going to continue. I've got to select my device. And it says send to printer. So I've got some white cardstock that I'm going to send to the printer, and I'll be right back. Stick it in my printer. Everybody always asks what printer I have. I have an HP OfficeJet 4635. It's just an inexpensive printer, but it works fine for my purposes. So I'm going to send it to my printer, and there it is, the HP OfficeJet, and I'm going to leave bleed on. I don't need any advanced options, and I'm going to say print. But you know what? I should make more than one of these, but I'll just make one for now. If I wanted to make more than one, I could just duplicate and duplicate it until I fill up the printable area. So I'm going to print it. This won't take long at all, and I'll go get it, bring it over, and show you what's got to happen next. Now it's not going to print that text that I had on there. That is going to be written on with a Cricut pen in the machine. So it's almost coming out of my printer. Okay, so it's come out of my printer, and I'm going to change so that you can see what's happening now over here. So here it is. I'm going to put this exactly in the same orientation as it is on my Cricut Design Space. In other words, I don't want to put him like this. I don't want to put him like this. I have to put him exactly the same way he was on my Cricut Design Space mat. Put it on like this. Okay, and then I'm ready to cut him out. So I'll take this over to my Cricut and load it up. I have it set to cardstock. Load. and press the go button, or the C for Cricut. If you'll notice here, it said first it was going to print, then it was going to draw, and now lastly it was going to cut. So that's what it did. I had to have my pen in there for this. It printed it on the page first, and then it drew the lettering on here, and then it cut. So now I'm going to unload it from my machine and bring it over. Show you this is what we have. So you can just take this off and take this off. Notice there's a hole in the center of it, and let me put it up closer so you can see it more clearly. Let's see, what could I put it on? About the back of this little pouch. Okay. Can you see how nice that turned out? So that's it. Just follow those steps. Don't worry about why you do it. Don't worry about all the other stuff that shows up on Inkscape, and you'll have some fun creating borders around any pictures you can find, actually. So thanks for joining me. Remember to give me a thumbs up if you like my videos. Bye-bye.